Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, here with some way cool words for today. And I knew I wanted to share some things from a 5-day webinar thing I'm doing right now. But I was wondering what card was going to pop up that kind of dovetailed with the information from the, good morning, Cindy, welcome, glad you're here, that dovetailed with the information from the webinar that I wanted to share with you. And it's a cool thing because, good morning, Carolyn, and good morning to whomever else popped. I'm not sure if you zoomed past when I shifted my eyes off or not, but anyway, glad you guys are all here. Good morning, Mel. We got a really, really cool one for today, and I'm hoping when you get off, you feel really jazzed up and excited and ready to tackle your day, to move some things forward, to really breathe into life, to live it, okay? So our card, we'll start with that. Good morning, Diane. Welcome, welcome. And we'll start with the card, and then I'm going to share some of the stuff from the webinar yesterday. And the amount of wow that I got out of day one of this webinar, I think the rest of it's going to be pretty darn cool. Good morning, Deb. Glad you are here. And I love sharing resources with you. So when there's someone out there doing something really kick-ass, I like presenting it all to you so that you can then go seek out that person too and get whatever you're meant to get from them. So the more collaboration we do, the better. Oh, beautiful sunshine. Thank you, thank you. It's darker than heck out there right now, but warm. It's warm. I mean, the snow was kind of getting crystally and crunchy because it was so warm out there this morning. So, Soul Coaching Desk by Denise Lynn. And I was not at all surprised when our card was joy. Joy. And feel the energy of that. I mean, you look at the heart and you look at what's coming forth from the heart. Can you feel the energy of that? Right? It's not a stagnant thing. It's an energized thing. And that's what we need to capture for ourselves. Our changes occur on energy. So we need some lift under our wings, as it were. So here's the card. Joy. Card meaning, celebrate and have fun. Embrace life, yourself, and others. Say yes. Soar to the clouds and let your doubts dissolve. All is well. All right? So that's about your state, your mindset, your countenance. So really letting yourself fire you up. All right? Your soul wants you to know. It's simple. Your purpose in life is to experience joy. That is all that's required of you as a soul. Whatever your circumstances, there's always something that can bring you delight. Especially look for little things. It might be the sun breaks through. It might be you see a crocus. It might be, someone's out walking their dog and the dog's having fun in the snow. Whatever it is, there's many opportunities to feel joy throughout the day. There's always something that can bring you delight, and what you put your attention on will grow. And that's something that idea has been around for a long time. What you focus on increases, right? So what are you putting your attention on? When you focus on the areas of your life that bring you joy, these areas prosper. One of the fastest paths to happiness is through sharing and giving. So give of your heart and share with love. Happiness spreads to others like wildfire and can help heal the world. Dance and sing with abandon. Joy is your spiritual birthright. Affirmation, joy and ecstasy flow through me wildly and freely. Not just a little bit. Good morning, Beth. Wildly and freely. So let me tell you about this webinar I'm doing. Some of you might be doing it. There are hundreds of thousands of people on this webinar. And it's cool because periodically, it's Tony Robbins. Periodically, he'll show his screen, what he can see, and it's all these people being incredibly in state of joy and ecstasy. And the power of that is just phenomenal. So one of the things I wanted to share with you today was, and I actually did this. I got a little hit. This was, oh man, maybe 5 years ago at one of my women's retreats, I had just a little epiphany. Take a picture of the women when they first get there, and then take a picture of the women at the end of the retreat. And what I said to them at the beginning was, assume your power pose. Good morning, Joe. Welcome. Glad you're here. And they kind of struggled to figure out what might be their power pose. By the end, they were slamming their hands on their hips, and they were there, right? So that is actually one of the little tools, just a little bitty tool that he demonstrated for us and told us what the research showed with regard to that. So it's the Wonder Woman pose. Stand with your hands on your hips. Put your shoulders back. Get your head up. Open your eyes. Look directly, okay? Do that for 2 minutes. So let's just sit here. Here we are. We're in our power pose. You might want to stand, but if I stand, all you're going to see is my chest. We'll just skip that, okay? So, but just be in this power pose, okay? 2 minutes. Do you want to know what the research shows? Your testosterone level goes up 20%. What's testosterone? That's energizing. That's movement. That's doing, okay? And we want that balance of being and doing, but it bumps up your testosterone level, gives you some energy, gets you moving. Your cortisol level, stress hormone, goes down 25%. So this releases stress hormones, lets them flush out. And too many of us are carrying around too much cortisol at this point. And when we do that, we burn ourselves out, basically. We fry out the circuitry. So that's when you see all of the health issues that people have when they're under chronic stress. So, you're still Wonder Womaning with me, all right? And the last one is your risk tolerance. The amount of risk you're willing to tolerate goes up by 33%. Now, what I want to say about risk is it is always perceived risk, what we think the risk is. Because we're examining a future thing, we can't know for sure what the level of risk is. And oftentimes, after the fact, people will say that there wasn't as much risk there as I thought there was. On the front end, yes, it felt like a very risky endeavor. Once it was accomplished, it didn't feel like that there was that much risk to begin with. So, what else is there? Was one other part I wanted to share. Oh, this is just like a little writing exercise, okay? And I'm just going to give you some little pockets that you might even be able to still join this webinar if you'd like to. It's a freebie. It's long. The one from yesterday was almost 4 hours. But he got on a roll, and look out, man. It's becomeunshakeable.com. So you might be able to still sign up for it. We'll see. But anyway, I'm going to be leaking you stuff from over the course of the days anyway. But the writing exercise that I think would be really cool for you to do, and some of you are going to go, well, I'll just think it through in my head. Yeah, you can do that. But that's kind of a weenie way out. When you commit it to paper, it's like, ooh, there it is. I can see it now. Yep. What has been your story of limitation thus far? Well, I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm too old. Write out your story of limitation. How do you hold yourself back? What do you tell yourself that knocks the wind out of your sails? Okay? Excuse me. And there's a couple a couple of questions that go with that. Cindy's got it. Thank you. Awesome. What role do you play in that story of limitation? Oh, good. Awesome. Some of you join. Feel free. There's tons of good stuff. Even if you only watched a little bit of it, I think it would put wind in your sails, which can be very helpful when we're at that point of wanting to make changes in our life. Okay? And I may mess with a little bit of that too. But what has been your story of limitation thus far? What role do you play in that story? Are you the victim? Are you the screw up? What role do you play in your own story? And what emotions does that story stir up in you? Might be feelings of defeat. Might be feelings of hostility towards yourself, whatever. What emotions does that old story of limitation stir up in you? Okay? What's your new story? All right? And what he said that I thought was brilliant was get yourself into the state of that first. So you might jump around for a while. You might do an old cheerleading routine, you know. You might dance a bit. Whatever it's going to be, energize yourself. Get yourself stirred up. Good morning, Chris. Glad you're here. But really get into the emotion of that. Then write your new story. And the way I like to write the new story is a la Jim Rohn. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And paint the picture of what your life is like now. All right? Once that's done, what role do you play in that new story? Are you the heroine? Good morning, Peggy. Glad you're here. Are you the heroine of that story? Who are you, the wise sage of that story? What's your role in your new life story? And pick 3. What positive emotions does that new story generate for you? Okay? So that's your little writing exercise, all right? There was so much content that he put out that was just amazing. And so I feel like it's my job to share some of that content, get you turned on to him for one thing. He's an interesting dude because he's certainly got the divine masculine going, a lot of the do, but there's a whole lot of divine feminine there also. He had posed a question at some point. He actually had 2 people come on and share their stories, and he cried. Their stories were incredibly touching, and his divine feminine was right there. He was collaborating with them. He was connected to them. And then he gifted them with amazing things. So the divine feminine and the divine masculine were both there, and you could see them working together, which is what we're aiming for, what we're all aiming for. So there was this cool thing that he said that I thought was really, I wrote it down. Divorce your story of limitation. Divorce your story of limitation. The I can't story, get rid of it. Divorce the story of limitation and marry the truth that I am unlimited possibility because I am willing, committed, and able to do difficult things. Let me say that again. And I'll try to remember to put it in the feed when I do my little routine of bumping this to LinkedIn and my YouTube channel and all that stuff. Divorce your story of limitation and marry the truth that you are unlimited possibility because you are willing, committed, and able to do difficult things. Willing, committed, and able to do difficult things. How cool is that, right? So, let's see. I'm going to share just a little more because there was so much stuff there. He said there were 3 S's that create a breakthrough. 3 S's that create a breakthrough. Yes, I will work really hard to remember to put that in there in the feed. And he gave them to us in reverse order of importance. We all like to think it's the other way around. The first one, the least important, being strategy. How am I going to do this? How am I going to make this breakthrough, create this change, blah, blah, blah. He says, as I have said a bazillion times, if you've been listening to me for a while, you've heard me say this over and over and over. How is not important. Why is important. If your why is big enough, the how will take care of itself. Even this webinar coming my way, right? I have been working really diligently, getting discouraged about, okay, I'm putting all these feelers out there. Good morning, Susan. Glad you're here. Putting all these feelers out, and nothing has been coming back. And it's like, okay, do I just keep putting feelers out? And I felt like, yep, I just keep putting feelers out. Eventually, something will get to the right person who's meant to run this path with me. And then this webinar shows up. And I signed up, and I'm like, yeah, we'll see how much of it I do. And I wasn't on live yesterday. I think it was live at 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, Central Time. And I was pooped. I didn't have it in me. So in the evening, when I had a little second wind, then I jumped on. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Then I jumped on and watched it, and I looked at the amount of time. It was 3 hours and 43 minutes, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing is long. But I got into it, and I got rolling, and his energy level was really high, and it really assisted moving things forward. So again, the first S is strategy. And again, the strategy is not the most important part. The next S is your story. And that I gave you the little prompts to change your story. What story do you want to be telling about yourself? Do you want it to be a story of joy and happiness and success, etc.? Or do you want to keep telling the same old victim story? That one's kind of worn out, isn't it? How about if we pitch that one in the fire and we'll create a new one? Good morning, Susie. Glad you're here. But the most important S of all of them was state, your mental and emotional state. And you might be saying, yeah, I'm dragging butt right now. Cool, that's okay. You're at where you're at. But there are many things out there that can improve your mental and emotional state. Going for a walk, being in nature, breathing more deeply, hanging around with someone who tends to fire you up, watching a YEMIG or two, whatever it's going to be. Shift your state, then tell your new story. That then will help you find your strategy for making this breakthrough in your life. And again, baby steps count. Yes, we all like the big hurrah, the big bang, the big shift, whatever. But I will tell you, my belief is most of the shifts that many of us make are those baby steps. It may look like the big bang, but that we then kind of lose. It's like when we say someone is an overnight success. We've written off all of the toil and work that they've done behind the scenes over the years. It looks like bang, there they are. They're fabulous now, right? Don't minimize all of the things that you're doing to take steps. Clutter clearing is a perfect example. Most of us don't start at the front door and clutter clear our entire house in one day. Most of us couldn't do it in a day. Nonetheless, we do it room by room or a la Marie Kondo, topic by topic. I'm going to deal with all the paperwork. I'm going to deal with all the clothing, whatever. But we have there's the strategy, right? But that mindset, the energy level, the creating our state that gets us in the mood to do that stuff. And again, sometimes we may not feel like we want to do it. So do the jumping around, go for a bike ride, whatever it is, then come back, set a timer, 15 minutes. I'm going to do 15 minutes of this, whatever this is, all right? Just do something. Just do something. One thing a day. My sister is right now on a roll of 5 pieces of paper a day. She's going to address 5 pieces of paper a day. And some days it ends up being more. You get on a roll and away you go. But that's the goal. 5 pieces of paper a day. Good enough. Done. Mine is going to be every day a step forward with the intentional community idea. Whatever it is, contacting somebody, researching something, writing something up, whatever it's going to be. What about for you? What about for you? Are you going to take the writing prompts I gave you and take a half hour, an hour and write? Are you going to sign yourself up for the rest, the 4 days yet to come for this webinar that I'm doing, that I'm participating in? I'm not doing it, I'm participating in. Whatever it is you're going to do it. Do it. And do it with an attitude of gratitude. This is cool. For whatever reason, this is what's opening up for all of us. Diane needs to write. Awesome. Fabulous. Yes. What I'm going to do today is he did this cool exercise. And I don't want to steal his thunder because this is his baby and he does it like nobody else ever does. Okay? But I'm going to do that activity. I watched him do it with the whole group. I wrote out my prompts. I'm going to do it with myself sometime today. We'll see when I have the opportunity. But I think it's going to be a game changer for me in terms of moving my intentional community project forward. So that's what we got for today. we have joy. Because again, look at that energy. Look at that energy coming out of that heart. When you have that kind of energy flowing, how can you not have things changing, right? All right, have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. For those of you who are new to me, I saw several names come through of people I haven't seen before. If you want to get these, I call them YEMIGs, Your Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. If you want to get them in an email, I send them out via email every day. Just send me the word yes to Bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com. All little letters all together, empowermentandpurpose.com. And if you want to check me out more, you can look at my website, empowermentandpurpose.com. You're welcome, you're welcome. And check things out. Just see where things are at. Allow this process to guide you. We are in the divine unfolding, you guys. We are in the divine unfolding. Shit shows up when we need it. Things unfold when it's timely. Trust the process. Have an awesome day. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. And I'll see you all again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.